Welcome to my channel Livestock Products Technology. In continuation of fish processing and preservation, today's topic is cold storage of fish. At the beginning, I had a topic at the very beginning related to fish, that is about handling and storage of fish. There also I have discussed about cold storage, but that is more about the immediate after catching the fish and marketing. But here today we will discuss more about storage after processing, after cleaning and storage either in refrigeration or in freezing, and also about the processed fish and their storage related to marketing. And we will talk more about the technical aspect of cold storage under refrigeration and freezing, different kind of freezing methods, different details about the freezing and precautions, and little bit about advanced freezing like individual quick freezing. In the modern marketing of fish, the maintenance of cold chain is very important. We are going to have an exclusive lecture, maybe one or two, only about the fish marketing. There we will discuss the relation of cold chain and marketing for the fish in more details. But here let us understand different components which plays important role in the cold chain and marketing of fish. Number one is the temperature, so which plays the very important role for maintaining the quality. Then there is supply chain and complexities. There is product characteristics, so quality of the product determine the shelf life, that is the lifetime of the product, either raw or processed fish, and the different kind of facilities and equipments and other factors. So these are different aspects in cold chain and marketing of fish. First we will see the importance of cold storage in fish marketing. The first thing is preservation. Cold storage utilizing refrigeration systems to maintain optimal temperature and humidity extends the shelf life of fish, preventing bacterial growth and preserving nutritional value. Then there is a quality control. By maintaining a consistent cold temperature, cold storage helps ensure the quality and safety of fish products, reducing the risk of spoilage and potential health hazards. And thirdly, market access. Cold storage facilities enable producers to store fish for extended periods, allowing them to market their products during off-peak seasons or off-seasons, or in distant markets where the availability of the material is less, and thereby overcoming seasonal supply constraints. In continuation about the importance of cold storage, the fourth aspect, that is the food safety. Cold storage practices including proper temperature control and hygiene are essential for preventing the growth of harmful bacteria and pathogens and ensuring consumer safety and consumer health. Fourth is cost effectiveness. While requiring initial investment, cold storage can reduce losses due to spoilage, potentially leading to higher profits for producers and lower prices for consumers. And lastly, the year-round availability. The cold storage enables seafood processing plants to store the raw or processed products, ensuring a consistent supply throughout the year and reducing dependence on seasonal harvest. So these are in details about the importance of cold storage. Now we will discuss little bit about the basics of preservation by cold. In earlier lecture, I have told there are different principles of preservation. So one of them is by controlling the temperature. In this case, the temperature is reduced and thereby the growth of all microorganisms are reduced, and it is done by two ways. One is at below freezing, another is above freezing. So above freezing means above 0 degrees Celsius, generally below 10 degrees Celsius. So in general, it is called as refrigeration or chilling. So any fish after cleaning and proper packaging, it can be stored either by refrigerating or freezing. So briefly we will discuss about the refrigeration or chilling. The raw fish can be kept in refrigerator at temperature around 5 to 7 degrees Celsius, preferably covered with some wrapper or by putting in a container. While keeping in refrigerator, fish should be moist but not wet. For refrigerating, the fish should be rinsed properly in clean water and it should be covered tightly either in aluminum foil or plastic wrapper or in closed containers. So this is briefly about the refrigerating or chilling. What is refrigeration and chilling we have discussed in details in other lectures. Now we will discuss about super chilling. This is a modern practice for extending better shelf life. The normal chilling or refrigeration, the fish can be stored for 3 to 4 days. But when there is no facility for freezing, for longer storage, we can use super chilling, which can go temperature up to 0 degree and below, and the shelf life can be 6 to 7 days. So this method is appropriate when freezing facilities are not available. For super chilling, fish are cleaned and wrapped tightly as whole with 2 layers of plastic wrap or aluminum foil, and then a mix of rock salt and crushed ice at the ratio of 1:20 is prepared. 4-inch layer of plain crushed ice is put at the bottom, and then the wrapped fish is kept over this, and then another layer of such crushed ice is put. On this, the ice mix layer is put and the process is repeated with several layers on the tightly covered container. So this gives a longer storage at a lower temperature up to 0 or -1 degree Celsius, and that is called super chilling. So now we will discuss about the freezing, which is below freezing point. Freezing has been used as a long-term preservation technique for decades. Fish and other meat foods were reported to be kept for months under proper frozen storage. The treatment retards microbial growth and enzymatic activity in fish to a greater extent when compared to chilling, and thus preserves the flavor and nutritional properties better. However, the formation of ice crystals during freezing has been observed to affect the quality of frozen products. So there are two kinds of freezing. One is slow freezing, another is fast freezing. In case of slow freezing, the large ice crystals are formed and that can cause damage to the texture, and when we thaw there can be more drip loss. Whereas in case of fast freezing, the ice crystal formation will be smaller in size, the damage will be less and the drip loss will be less. Now briefly we will discuss about different types of freezers. So freezers are different variety like blast freezers, plate freezers, and sometimes cryogenic freezers where the liquid nitrogen is used. In case of blast freezer, the frigid air at -40 degrees Celsius is blasted on the package or the product or the fish. That can be done by two ways, that is normal air blast freezer and continuous air blast freezer. In case of normal air blast freezer, advantages for producing individually quick frozen fish or fish fillets or coated products can be produced. In case of continuous air blast freezer, fluidized bed freezing technique is used. In case of plate freezer, it can be horizontal or vertical. In the horizontal plate freezer, it is used in almost all land-based freezing operations, and there is vertical plate freezer where most commonly used for freezing fish at sea level or before processing or marketing. Similarly, there is individual quick freezing system is there with liquid nitrogen, which is having a continuous flow of automatic freezing after the entry in one side and it comes out frozen in the other side. Now we will talk about freezing. As I mentioned several in lectures, that is freezing is at a below freezing point, preferably it is stored at minus 18 degrees Celsius. It is for long-term storage or transportation, and fish must be properly cleaned and handled before freezing. The temperature of storage in freezing is minus 18 degrees Celsius. So little bit more details about the practice of freezing. First thing is the double wrapping, suitable for small whole fish, steaks or fillets. In this, fish is tightly wrapped individually in plastic and again wrapped tightly with another layer of wrapper. These wrapped pieces are kept in sealable freezer bags. The sealed bags are placed scattered in the freezer until they get frozen, and once they are frozen they can be stocked one over the other by stacking. So this is little bit about the practice of wrapping and freezing of fish. Now we will discuss about the frozen storage of fish. Once fish is frozen, it must be stored at a constant temperature of minus 18 degrees Celsius or below in order to maintain a long shelf life and ensure quality. A large portion of fresh fish is water. Because the water in fish contains many dissolved substances, it does not uniformly freeze at the freezing point of pure water. Because pure water may be freezing below 0 degree, but fish contains many other materials other than water, so the freezing point is low. Instead, the free water in fish freezes over a wide range of temperature beginning at approximately minus 2 degrees Celsius. The amount of remaining free water decreases until the product reaches a temperature of approximately minus 40 degrees Celsius. That's deep freezing. Further, in continuation about the frozen storage of fish and its shelf life, when the fish is held below minus 40 degrees Celsius with a proper packaging which won't allow any water loss through sublimation, can be stored for an indefinite period, means for a very long period, maybe even 1 year or more. Only few commercial freezers capable of storing fish at minus 40 degrees Celsius because of the tremendous variation in energy cost and in the efficiency of the freezer. Fish are therefore normally stored at minus 18 to minus 29 degrees Celsius, resulting in a variable shelf life ranging from few months to years. Here we can see the pictures with different kind of practices of cold storage followed in the industry. Sometimes the whole fish is immediately chilled with ice after catching, and sometimes they are brought to the plant and cut and clean and made the fillets or pieces, and then they are frozen and packaged for long-term storage in freezing and for export. Now we will discuss about the precautions for cold storage of fish, which includes both refrigeration, chilling, super chilling and frozen storage. So first thing is fish should be thoroughly cleaned, then only we can have good quality and good shelf life. Secondly, the refrigerator temperature should be around 5 degrees Celsius or below, then only we can have good shelf life. Then thawed fish should not be refrozen again. Once the fish is thawed, it should not be put back again in freezing. Thawing should be done in refrigerator. So generally we may do the thawing at a room temperature or by putting in water or in hot water. That will affect the quality, so it should be done in refrigerator in overnight. Fish should be frozen as soon as possible after the catch, or after catching and cleaning it should be frozen at the earliest. If we delay, then it will lose the shelf life or quality. The package should be mentioned with content and date. Any frozen fish or cold storage, there should be proper labeling about the content and the date of storage. Here are some precautions about the storage In freezing specifically, the package should be marked with content and date, as I already told, because it's a long-term storage. The wrapped package should be sealed tightly. When fish is frozen, make sure it's fully covered with ice. Frozen fish should be put in the freezer at the earliest with proper package, and putting the fish package in freezer bag before keeping in freezer to provide an extra protection. After freezing, we are wrapping, then we can put it in a freezer bag. That gives a more longer shelf life in frozen storage. Now briefly we will see about the cold storage of fish processing industry. Cold storage is usually a part of the fish processing plant for storing frozen finished products. As I told, after cleaning and processing and packing, they will be stored and then they will be marketed or exported. So it needs longer storage. Also, the further processed products can be stored by freezing. The bulk cold stores normally give the same service as production cold stores, but are often located at some distance from the actual processing industries and are normally much larger than the production stores, which cater to the needs of other processing plants also for storing frozen seafood. So in the industry, here the production places and the processing places are different. So in the processing places, the storage capacity should be much higher. The capacity of cold stores normally ranges between 1000 to 10,000 metric ton. However, the size of the cold store depends on a number of factors like quantity to be stored, the average storage period required, and the number of articles and mode of operations, etc. So here we can have both low temperature, that is the chilling storage, and we can have very low, that is the frozen storage or deep freezers in a large capacity as per the requirements. Here briefly we will see about the cold chain component for export, that is the large fish processing plant involved in export. There are different category of cold chain used. First one is cold chain is done by flake ice or block ice or tube ice or slurry ice. So this helps in bringing the catch from the farm to the factory gate. Then the second category is block processing or blast freezing, as I told earlier, and IQF, that is individual quick freezing. So this is pertaining to the processing of fish and further freezing and marketing or export. Thirdly, there is cold chain containers. So the container itself under cold, the carriers, that is related to the logistics and export. And lastly, there are freezer cold storage. So that is about the -20 or below, which is for a long-term storage. So these are the different aspects of cold chain used in the export-oriented handling and marketing of the fish. So here briefly we will discuss about different cold chain used for the export. First is the block ice plants that are most widely available source of ice for the fishing industry. These ice plants are densely established in the coastal regions, mainly for the fisheries sector. Then there is tube ice. This is the new development in the fishing industry, as many of the seafood factories have regular ice production in the plants. Then there is flake ice machine, is widely used in IQF seafood plants and is useful where immediate chilling is required. And there is slurry ice machine, which can be fixed on board fishing vessels, ensuring rapid cooling of fish till it reaches the shore. So these are the different kind of cold chain with different kind of ice for immediate cooling, which is necessary for export oriented plants. Here we can see the slurry of ice production, which is used in the industry for immediate cooling of the catch, and then it goes to the factory for cutting, cleaning, processing, and again chilling and freezing. These are the practice followed in the export oriented fish plants. So now we will briefly talk about IQF, that is individual quick freezing. The earlier the export used to be done by conventional freezing, and where the fish or the products will be frozen as blocks of 2 kg by block freezing. But it has some disadvantage, like the product loses identity and the consumer is forced to buy the minimum of 2 kg bulk. In cases where processing is involved, the quality of the end product is affected by this. Hence, there is a need felt for the individual quick freezing, where the every fish is individually frozen and packed. So shrimp products are the major item among the marine products exported from India, and since the preference in importing countries is towards more of IQF products, and also there is value addition in the products, those kind of products are frozen by IQF for export. The major varieties of IQF products which are exported includes the shrimp, cuttlefish and lobsters. Here we can see the special facility for producing the IQF, individually quick frozen fish. So this is having a liquid nitrogen facility with tunnel system. At the one end the fish are kept and it goes through it, and in the other end it comes out as a individually frozen, and then they are packed and further stored for export purpose. Here we can see a facility for individual quick freezing, where the every individual fridge is coming out after the freezing. Then they will be packed individually and then further bulk packed for further storage or export. So now we are at the end of today's lecture. This is another special lecture on preservation of fish or fish products. Earlier we have discussed briefly about the immediate handling and storage of fish in the first lecture, but here it is after processing and proper cleaning, packaging and for further export or for further processed fish products. So this we have discussed with more details about the technical aspects, about the low temperature storage including the refrigeration, chilling and super chilling, and more details I have discussed about the freezing, what is the speciality of freezing, what is the principles and science behind it, what are the different methods of freezing and different kind of freezers, what kind of practice should be followed, and the precautions to be taken during cold storage or freezer storage. At the beginning we have discussed about the importance of cold storage in fish marketing and export, and at the end I have discussed about the special kind of freezing, that is individual quick freezing. So altogether this plays a very important role in the fish marketing of the fish products. Thank you.